Good morning. World leaders from the G20 member countries wrap up their summit in Brisbane, Australia with a communique aimed at global economic recovery. Over 5 years of negotiations and now the 14th country to realize a free trade pact with Korea. The details of the agreement with Professor Yang Jun-seok. The world reacts to yet another disturbing video which was released by the terrorist organization Islamic State. And it's everywhere across the nation. People taking snaps of everything. The photo-taking culture of Korea. Get the ins on hashtag #curiousinkorea on Korea Today, Monday, November 17th, 2014.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And a good Monday morning to you all. Welcome to Korea Today. I'm Kim In-jung with Kim Young and Oh Jin-ju. This weekend was the first weekend since hundreds of thousands of students took the college entrance exam. So everywhere you went, you saw students and you saw traffic too.
And parents too.
That's right.
Parents.
So they have test taking on Thursday basically all day, and they basically have one day to party in and do all that. But now it's all time for the parents as well as the students to get back into action. It's not over. There are private education institutes offering consultations on college admissions, and you can see that this is a packed house.
Look at this crowd.
And major universities in the nation also held essay tests. And this weekend, it was those for students aiming for early admission. And as the college scholastic ability test wasn't as hard as they have thought, these essay tests have become more important now.
That's right. And getting into your university of choice may seem like a long, winding road, but do hang in there. The finish line is almost there, right?
All
Just
right,
around
kids,
the corner.
Really hang in there and do that fighting thing again and just get yourself into college.
All right, let's now get a check on our headlines. World leaders from 20 advanced and emerging economies have wrapped up their G20 summit in Brisbane, Australia, pledging to boost global economic recovery by implementing their respective growth strategies. In a communique dubbed the Brisbane Action Plan adopted at the end of the meeting on Sunday, the leaders agreed to strive to increase the combined gross domestic product by at least an additional 2% by 2018. As for Korea, if economic measures proposed by the Park Geun-hye government in February are carried out, the IMF and the OECD assess that the country's GDP could grow by 4.4% in 4 years. The leaders also pledged to refrain from competitive devaluation, which could have negative spillover effects in emerging countries, which could in return hurt advanced economies. During the summit, President Park Geun-hye had raised concerns about the weakening Japanese yen following asset purchases by Japan's central bank.
North Korea's top Communist Party official Choi Ryong-hae is set to travel to Moscow and meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Tuesday. While the specific purpose behind the meeting remains unclear, Choi is expected to deliver a personal letter from North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un, discuss boosting ties and strengthening economic cooperation. Experts speculate Choi's week-long trip, which begins on Monday, could be the precursor to a visit by Kim himself. Choi is also expected to ask for Russia's cooperation to bar the UN Security Council from passing a resolution on the North's human rights situation, while attention is also on what he will say if or when the subject of Pyongyang's nuclear ambitions arises.
New Zealand has now become the 14th country or economic bloc that has concluded a free trade agreement with Korea, wrapping up their 5-year and 5-month-long negotiations. Now, under this trade deal, the two countries will gradually remove tariffs on more than 96% of the products traded between the two countries within 20 years. And for more on this trade pact, we're now joined by Professor Yang Jun-seok from the Catholic University of Korea. Good morning.
Morning.
So it took quite a long time for Korea and New Zealand to conclude this free trade pact. And what were some of the sticking points on the way?
Okay, well, the formal negotiation took place for more than 5 years, but I remember the New Zealand ambassador arguing that Korea should be negotiating FTA with New Zealand as early as 2003. But the problem was that New Zealand is such a strong agricultural country that I think from Korea's point of view, it brings too many domestic political problems and not enough benefits because New Zealand is a small island country which is fairly open anyway. So I think that's one of the reasons why it took so long.
And what are some of the sectors in Korea that will likely benefit from the trade pact, and what are some of the other industries that will face challenges ahead?
Well, we expect some advances in petrochemicals, commercial vehicles like trucks, auto parts, tires, commercial refrigerators, and metals, steel and aluminum. The sectors that will take a hit on is obviously the agricultural sector, especially fruits, beef, and dairy products especially.
As you mentioned, although they excluded some 200 agricultural livestock products from concession, beef, New Zealand beef, and kiwis and cheese are still included in the trade pact. So that is why farmers here in Korea are concerned about this trade pact. What do you think are the measures that the government should put in place to better protect these industries?
Okay, well, we do need to improve the productivity of Korean dairy industry, as well as the Korean beef industry. But I think it's going to be very difficult competing on the basis of productivity. So from Korea's point of view, Korean dairy products and beef are going to have to concentrate on freshness. The fact that it's produced here, it doesn't take that long to get here. So I think that's the area that they should, government should concentrate on.
Right. And another notable thing about this FTA is that the two countries agreed to expand the working holiday visa quota. What kind of effect could this bring?
Okay, I think one of the biggest reasons why New Zealand wanted to have an FTA with Korea was that they wanted to increase foreign direct investment into New Zealand by Korea. So remember that from New Zealand's point of view, Korea is a huge economy. And there has been experiences where Korean companies set up dairy factories for baby formula in New Zealand. So I think by encouraging more people more Koreans to get into New Zealand through things like working holiday, I think they want to promote more foreign direct investment as well as tourism, which is one of their biggest industries.
And we're seeing all these FTAs being concluded in recent weeks with China and New Zealand. So what could be President Park's objective in terms of expanding Korea's economic territory? And in particular, for example, how would these FTAs help Korea in its negotiations to join the U.S.-led Trans-Pacific Partnership? Okay,
well, we've been trying to get into the TPP, but we haven't been able to. But with New Zealand is a partner. New Zealand is a participant both in TPP and the ASEAN and China-led RCEP, and they're sure to be joining the FTAAP in the future. So I think the idea was, let's get as many agreements out of the way as possible, and if there's any sticking points, we'll try to deal with it during the RCEP negotiations or the TPP negotiations. So I think this signals that the RCEP and the TPP process is accelerating, and as soon as those negotiations finish, we're probably going to move on to the FTAAP.
All right, Professor Yang. Thank you as always for your insight this morning.
Thank you.
Good Monday morning. It's time to run through the front pages of your newspaper. Now, participants of the international bicycle tour called One Korea, New Eurasia, promoting the reunification of the two Koreas, which took off in Berlin on August 13th, finally reached their last destination of Seoul yesterday. Let's take a look at this story first on Joseonilbo. And we'll take a look at the title here. It says, Unification has come running. So 15 cyclists set out from Berlin, but only 7 were to cover the entire 15,000 kilometers. Running through Poland, the 3 Baltic states, Russia, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, China, and finally Korea. Now, in this image behind the 7 cyclists in front, some 10,000 Korean citizens came together to participate in this event's final leg of the course here in the capital city, all of them with the hopes of sharing their dreams of unification with the world. The 96-day marathon tour across Europe and Asia was organized by this daily. Now moving on to another issue on 중앙일보, we'll take a look at this story regarding justices of the Supreme Court. And this is titled "At least 3 of 14 Supreme Court justices recruited from outside." So the Supreme Court of Korea is composed of the Chief Justice and 13 other Supreme Court justices, making a total of 14 justices. The paper says that the Supreme Court has now decided to make it mandatory to recruit at least 1/4 of this total number from outside, which means not from an existing group of incumbent judges, but as it says here in the subheadlines, among personnel that are not part of the court, such as from a pool of experienced professors and lawyers. The move is to have the Supreme Court reflect on a variety of perspectives and ideas. And turning to some local politics, onto the side story of 경향신문 here. This one is about a potential year-end cabinet reshuffle, and the title reads, President Park ready to establish new ministry personnel this week. So the president is soon expected to name the heads of 2 new state agencies to be established in accordance with a recently passed bill on government restructuring. Taking a look at the subheadlines, a new government reorganization act set to be promulgated this Wednesday calls for the establishment of the 2 new bodies, one to handle national disaster management and the other to address shady relationship between regulators and businesses. Now, Second Vice Minister of Security and Public Administration Lee Sung-ho, he has emerged as a strong candidate to become the inaugural head of the new disaster management agency. And staying with President Park Geun-hye, we'll go on to some news on the Mail Business newspaper regarding some remarks by her at the G20 summit. And this is called, President Park expresses concern over Japan's quantitative easing at G20. The president made some critical comments at the G20 summit on Sunday, particularly over Korean exporters having difficulties due to a plunge in the yen's value caused by Japan's quantitative easing. Now, this is the first time that she officially raised the issue of depreciation of the yen in the international community. And as we can see here, she further added that in today's interconnected world, advanced countries' economic and monetary policies, which only take into consideration their own situations, could have a negative spillover effect on emerging economies. And that was a look at our local headlines for this Monday. Now following are the stock numbers from Friday.
So for the past couple of weeks, we've brought you reports on national cohesion every Monday. In our last installment, we'll take a closer look at how Korea's social integration can ultimately lead to unification.
That's right. Since President Park Geun-hye called a possible unification a jackpot or a bonanza, expectations on Korean unification have been rising. So let's find out what kind of preparations are taking place in this next report.
A nationwide public forum addressing social conflicts. A small action, bigger value movement. Their ultimate goal is unification of the 2 Koreas.
The basis for national cohesion is the well-being of our citizens. With public happiness leading to national development, the ultimate goal of our national cohesion is to reunify the 2 Koreas and construct the infrastructure of a united Korea.
At the New Year's press conference, President Park touched on the importance of unification.
저는 한마디로 통일은 대박이다. 이렇게 생각을 합니다.
The division of the Korean peninsula comes along with various social costs. Separated families after the Korean War, increase in defense costs as the two Koreas are technically still at war, and issues of defectors. Then what would it be like if the two Koreas unify? If they integrate economically, North Korea's GDP will increase by 16%, while that of South Korea will increase by 1%. This is based on the condition that troops are scaled down and inflow of labor market is secured. In order to achieve unification, the public will and their consciousness is most important. In fact, according to a recent survey, almost 60% of people feel unification is not necessary.
South Korea needs to prepare a great deal for unification. Currently, the government has introduced North Korean policies geared towards unification and launched related organizations such as the Committee for Unification Preparation.
For the future of a united Korea, the first task is changing public consciousness, especially among the young generation. Recently, a special center has been opened for teenagers to experience simulated unification. A simulation program offers students to embark onto a model of a high-speed train and experience what it would be like after 7 years of reunification. They would travel to North Korea and foresee the scenes of a united Korea.
I used to think negatively about North Korea, which always pushes for nuclear weapons. But with the simulation, I learned more about the North and felt the need for unification.
After visiting the center here, I realized that North Korea is a country we need, and I hope for unification soon.
Here, simulation programs are catered to children in hopes they would become more open-minded toward unification.
We must recognize that unification is a way to normalize the abnormality of a divided country. So we should help the children learn why unification is an issue for us and our community, and what steps we can take towards unification.
In fact, for younger generations who have not experienced the Korean War, unification may sound like a distant future. But education on unification is vital for them, as they may very well be the next leaders of a unified Korea. For the second step towards unification, experts point out the importance of North Korean defectors.
The basis of unification is public integration. Helping North Korean defectors settle here can be considered small-scale unification. As more defectors come and join South Korean society in the future, we are getting that much closer to unification.
The number of people fleeing from the north has increased, with dreams of a better life in South Korea. As of now, about 27,000 North Korean defectors are living here in the south. The South Korean government provides a variety of support, such as education, residence, and vocational training for North Korean defectors to settle in the south. Especially, there are many female North Korean defectors, and this is the first support center just for them.
We help female North Korean defectors, especially those in the most vulnerable classes. This is because they cannot work like other citizens, so they would just stay home, which led to emotional problems. Working here and showing their tales helps them become emotionally stable.
Currently, 6 women from North Korea are subsidized with part-time work and vocational training. Ensuring employment is the most crucial factor for North Korean defectors when settling in the south.
For North Korean refugees, vocational training is top priority. But even with training, it's not easy to find a job. And even when you do, many would quit after a while. I was unemployed and stayed home for about a year too. But it's nice working here. I'm settling in without any regrets coming to South Korea.
These processes would help North Korean defectors settle in the south. The closer South and North Koreans can work together, the closer will be towards unification.
Unification will bring many changes in public consciousness and behavior, fluctuations to culture and various systems. I believe Korea will have a bright future if we continue to push forward.
As we witness more and more examples of social integration, we're also taking steps closer to national cohesion and perhaps towards unification of the peninsula.
And still ahead, using the power of makeup alone, there's a woman who can imitate the look of any K-pop star, plus clips of how Americans react after tasting Korean snacks and stunning images of the cosmos by NASA. All of this and much more coming your way.
Very, very neat. We'll get a look on that. And of course, a little bit of rain and slippery roads do await morning commuters this morning. For more on today's weather, we'll go to Chun Song-cho. She joins us from Banpo.
Good morning to you, Song-cho.
Good morning, guys. I'm reporting live from Hangang Park. This week begins with some wet weather all across the country. Not much rain, though, just less than 5 millimeters of sprinkles were seen overnight, and even light snow in the mountainous Gangwon-do province. In the areas especially where temperatures have dipped near freezing, the ice-churned roads can be really slippery, so keep that in mind when you're driving on the road this morning. Right now, we have overcast skies overhead, and things will start to clear up towards the afternoon. But another round of precipitation is expected to hit the west coast regions, and with it comes strong winds, which will chill the entire peninsula. Temperatures this afternoon won't rise as much as yesterday, but it'll feel a lot chillier for many people because of the strong winds. And with that, let's take a closer look at today's temperature readings. Midday highs won't surpass 10 degrees Celsius in Seoul. Most of the nation will remain cool with highs hovering in the lower teens, but Busan in the south will see the warmest conditions at 16 degrees Celsius. A cold spell is expected for tomorrow, and this is all for me with the weather forecast. Back to you, Min-jung.
Thank you, Song-cho. Time now to get a check on some of the global headlines we're following at this hour. Our Eunice Kim is standing by at the news center. Good morning to you, Eunice.
Good morning, Min-jung.
Let's begin this morning with news of yet another gruesome video released by the Islamic State group that claims to show the beheading of another American hostage.
That's right, and just a couple hours ago, the White House did confirm that the video was, in fact, that of American aid worker Peter Kassig. U.S. President Barack Obama offered his prayers and condolences for those grieving his loss. You may remember the 26-year-old aid worker had been featured in a previous execution video you see there warning of his coming demise. But this latest 15-minute clip published online on Sunday, which we will not show, was different from videos of the past. First of all, it was even more graphic. It didn't have the orange jumpsuit nor show the last moments leading to Kassig's death. What it did show was a bloody, decapitated head at the feet of a masked man who identified him as the Indiana native in a British accent. The video's lower production quality, for instance, the use of just one camera, suggested a rushed project of a group on the run. It also showed a mass beheading of 18 Syrian troops. Peter Kassig was a former U.S. soldier who returned to the region to assist Syrian refugees through his aid organization. The Muslim convert, who was also known as Abdul Rahman Kassig, was captured by militants in Syria last October. The U.S. State Department has dismissed as preposterous images aired by Russian state-controlled TV that claim to show Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 was shot down by a Ukrainian fighter jet back in July. The photographs are said to show a Ukrainian jet firing an air-to-air missile in the direction of the ill-fated airliner that had killed all 298 people on board. But several commentators have described those images as crude forgeries. Meanwhile, Dutch officials said Sunday that they have finally begun a recovery of MH17's wreckage on Sunday after months of delay and conflict. About 2/3 of the victims were from the Netherlands.
And going once, going twice, and sold. The iconic hat of French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte has been sold at an auction in France over the weekend. I understand the new owner is a Korean national.
That's right. He was identified by the AFP as the head of food industry giant Harim here in Korea, citing the man who made the winning bid at the auction. He said his boss had plans to display it at the company's new building to show his employees were, like Napoleon, pioneers in their own right. The winning bid for the famous bicorn hat came in at the hefty sum of 1.9 million euros or $2.4 million US dollars, which was almost 5 times the estimated value. The black felted beaver fur topper, together with hundreds of other Napoleon memorabilia, were put on sale by the Monaco royal family in the two-day auction to raise money for their castle restoration. The iconic hat is one of only 19 believed to still exist, with 2 or 3 in private collections. And with that, we'll wrap your look at the global headlines we're following this morning.
All right, thank you very much, Eunice, for that. That is one expensive hat that you cannot wear. Now, with the weather getting colder and the temperatures reaching winter temperatures, you might not expect festivals and outdoor festivals to attract millions of people. But our Im Yoon-hee joins us with one that actually does year after year. Good morning, Yoon-hee.
Good morning. Good morning. That's right. So actually, this past weekend, the Seoul Lantern Festival was a hot spot here in Seoul. Like Young said, they do see millions of spectators every year. Now, this is the 6th edition to the festival, and this year they have hundreds of gorgeous lanterns. Take a look. Every November since 2009, the streets of Seoul are lit up brilliantly by lanterns, creations of all different shapes and sizes, made by professional artists as well as by everyday citizens. The Seoul Lantern Festival brings the community together through a unique and dazzling blend of the traditional and modern, in an eye-catching display along Cheonggyecheon Stream in Seoul. Millions of spectators gather from all over the country and the world to see this landmark spectacle of handcrafted lanterns, each created under this year's theme of World Heritage Shining in Seoul, which highlights Seoul's history for friends and family alike. A deer in headlights. Hundreds and hundreds of headlights. Artist Choi Woo-ram is known for melding technology and art for futuristic-like works, including this mammoth orb of car headlights that leaves viewers frozen in their tracks. It's part of a collection of works reflecting the dreams of 9 artists, with the exotic and the unknown mixed in with the world we live in. The exhibition is part of the Hyundai Motors Brilliant Art Project. And while some artists dream of a future world, some find creative inspiration in everyday items, like a handbag. Bag is Literature brings together 3 prize novelists and displays their unique interpretations of the literary world, stitched into the linings of a purse.
Okay, so we saw some installation or very beautiful pieces there, and you can still catch that. But let's go back to the festival that does attract millions of visitors every year. Now, tell us a little bit more about that. There is a story behind it, right?
That's right. So with these lanterns, actually, there's a section dedicated to Korea's cultural history, and they actually want to tell the 700-year history of the Baekje Kingdom to spectators, so you can actually see very famous symbols, very famous figures as well through these lanterns.
Okay, well, logic tells me that since it is an outdoor lantern festival, you'd have to go there after it turns dark.
Right, so they do light them up from 5 to 7 p.m. every night, so that's the peak time to go and check it out. That's also when you're going to see the most spectators as well, so keep that in mind. But it stretches 1.2 kilometers long, so from the Cheonggyecheon Stream Plaza to the Supyo Bridge, so a very long stretch with hundreds of different lanterns to check out.
All right, so even if you do go, if you did go last year, make sure to try to make it this year. They do have some different twists over there, so some great places that we can check out.
Right.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right, stay with us on Korea Today, because why do Koreans take so many photographs with their smartphones? Well, it's easy to leave memories, right? But there's more stories to that. Now, good-looking selfies are just the basics when it comes to Koreans and their love for taking photos of anything, anywhere, and every time. Now, Megan Bowen from the U.S. wants to find out just why, so she takes her questions to the streets on #CuriousInKorea.
So many people are looking forward to the opening of IKEA or IKEA next month here in Korea. The Swedish company has released the retail prices in Korea for their 8,000 products.
Right, but controversy soon followed because some products were twice as expensive than other countries. And our Seo Mi-sorang joins us to tell us more about this. Good morning, Mi-sorang.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. So yes, the IKEA fans got their calculators out and did some comparisons. Turns out many products were much more expensive in Korea. Case in point, let's have a look at the best store TV units and see how much they are in different countries. Of 7 countries, including Japan, China, UK, and so on, it's the most expensive in Korea. All these are in US dollars. Compared to Canada, it's more than double the price. So as you can imagine, there were quite a store online. To be fair though, there were some items that were cheaper in Korea, such as the PS cabinet and the Solstice sofa beds that were about 60–70% of the US prices. So the point is, you should do your homework beforehand, as these users pointed out. We should compare prices and only buy what's cheaper, and the consumer needs to be smart and compare prices thoroughly.
So, yeah, like you said, do your homework, buy the ones that are cheaper, don't buy the ones that are more expensive. But the company is embroiled in another controversy with the use of the Sea of Japan to refer to the East Sea. So they're not off to a great start there, huh?
So the story is, they have these maps that you can hang on your wall for educational or decorative purposes, and they, like you said, identify the body of water between Korea and Japan as Sea of Japan as opposed to East Sea. So definitely not off to a good start there. Next up, I've got 2 pictures that I want to show you. The first one involves these rooks, which is a species of bird that look like ravens. Here it is. All these black dots are rooks. More than 50,000 came to roost at the Taewagang River in Ulsan City yesterday. As you know, Korea has many of these migratory bird habitats, and Taewagang is one of the major ones in Korea. Now, these rooks, they spend half the year in Siberia and Mongolia, but come to Korea between October and March of every year.
I want to say it's beautiful, but it's actually kind of scary.
It's very scary. I think it's downright scary.
It is one of those polarizing pictures. I thought it was beautiful, but
and especially their color is black, so that makes it the more scarier.
But here's a prettier picture. So Crayon Pop, they've been nominated as ambassadors for a Thai campaign that encourages people to wear helmets when they ride bicycles or motorcycles, which is one of the major transport methods in Thailand. So like here, as you can see, they're perfect for this role because they already love wearing the motorcycle helmets for their song.
So do wear your helmet.
Yes, very important.
Perfect role for them.
Perfect, yes.
Thank you, Mi-sorang.
You're welcome.
And a good Monday morning to you all as we kick things off with the 2014-2015 ISU Short Track World Cup, which began its new season. And as for 2-time Olympic champion Lee Sang-hwa, there's no one better when it comes to the 500-meter event. With Lee Sang-hwa winning her first gold medal at the event on the 14th after coming in at a final time of 38.07 seconds during the first 500-meter event, she comes back 2 days later and finishes first again this time with a final time of 37.92 seconds for her second gold medal. A great start to the new season as she's set to compete once again in the next World Cup event set to take place here in Korea. And now moving over to baseball this time, where Kia Tigers ace Yang Hyun-jung is set to be posted later today, becoming the second KBO player to be posted so far this offseason. And with the 26-year-old lefty set to be posted, many wonder if he'll be posted for a higher fee than Kim Kwang-hyun, who was recently posted for $2 million by the San Diego Padres. But according to several MLB experts, Yang Hyun-jung is getting more interest from the major league teams compared to SK's Kim Kwang-hyun, with reports saying that the Boston Red Sox and the New York Yankees being interested in posting for Young. Now over to China this time with the badminton duo of Lee Yong-dae and Yoo Yeon-sung, who competed in the China Open. And after claiming the title last season, they came back a year later and did it again. Now going up against the 8th-ranked Chinese duo of Hong Wei and Chai Bao, Lee Yong-dae and Yoo Yeon-sung cruises through in straight sets 21-14 and 21-15 for a 2-0 victory. The duo, who won the Korea Grand Prix in Jeonju last week, will look to win the Hong Kong Open, set to begin on the 18th. And now shifting over to golf and over to the KLPGA, where it came down to the final tournament of the season for the Rookie of the Year to be named. In what was a tight race between the three super rookies in Baek Kyu-jung, Ko Jin-young, and Kim Min-sun, 19-year-old Baek Kyu-jung finished highest amongst the three during the KLPGA Chosunilbo POSCO Championship and clinches this year's KLPGA Rookie of the Year honors. Now, in addition to 2 KLPGA titles this season, Baek Kyu-jung also won the LPGA KB Hanabank Championship, which took place here in Korea. And that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day and see you guys again for your sports needs.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Simon O, and that, of course, means it's time for Viral Feed. We're going to have a look at some of the hottest stories that have been making waves across the internet here in Korea. As you can see, we have quite a lineup today. Let's go right on into our first story, and I'm going to start out with a little bit of a secret. I don't actually look like this. Every Monday morning, our crack staff of cosmetics experts have to work their magic to make me this mediocre and presentable for the camera. So as you can tell, cosmetics can really transform a person's image. But with our first story today, we have a woman who takes that to an entirely different level. Let's take a look. This woman, who we're told is from Japan, hides her own face away as she transforms into other people. Now, she starts by applying eyeshadow and by darkening her eyebrows. The folds in her eyes are given a bit more definition and her nose a bit sharper. She has a bit of volume to her lips, as you can see here. A little bit of highlights and a wig, and voila, that beautiful Japanese girl has turned into Taejung from the K-pop group. Wow. Doesn't end there. This is that same young lady imitating the different members of the K-pop sensation girl group Girls' Generation. Taeyeon, you see there. You see the youngest, Haehyun. Again, dead ringers. If I weren't more familiar with these faces, I really think I would be fooled.
Oh. You should hire her to do my makeup.
My goodness, and she can make you look like a member of a girl group.
This is 007 kind of stuff, right? Wow.
This is, I mean, you expect her to just put her hand underneath her chin and sort of rip off the mask. Right? It's just unbelievable
stuff.
Seriously, as much as our cosmetics team here at Korea Today do a wonderful job with me each Monday morning, and I'm amazed that they're able to do it, that woman is just something else. All right, now let's move on to our next story. This tummy, by the way, this didn't just get here. This took years of heavy lifting with many, many delicious Korean snacks. There's a reason I have this tummy. Now, this variety of different snacks in Korea has made them extremely popular among foreign foodies. So here's a video that gives us a taste of what can be had. Let's have a look. So what kinds of Korean snack foods are these American foodies trying today?
Ooh, new feeling of soda beverage.
First
that is
one
a new feeling. And
appears to be some sort of soda. Unfamiliar?
Milkis.
It's actually a beverage called Milkis, and it's flavored like banana milk.
It looks like
This
a
one I was
cheesy
curious to see how foreigners
egg.
would respond.
It's
It's a squid and peanut flavored snack, which, by the way, has been around in Korea for as long as
One of my
38
favorites.
years. I'm starting to get a little bit hungry.
It's weird. The fish it's a little.
So they're a little bit tentative at first because squid, of course, is not a popular snack food over in the West.
You call it calamari.
Yep. Now check this out. This is one of my mom's favorites. It's an ice cream sandwich, yeah, that's flavored with red bean, but it looks like a fish. Now, if you've never seen this before in your life, you'd be excused for thinking, wait, what if this tastes like fish? Of course it doesn't, though.
It's an ice cream sandwich shaped like
A little bit, again, tentative
There's
at
no
first.
fish in it.
Now, this one was my favorite of all.
Do you even know this is edible?
What is drawing this sort of strong reaction from these people? What could it possibly be?
Kimchi crackers.
What could it be? Look at this guy. Look, he had to actually spit it out. And you think it must be something disgusting, right? But have a look at this. Check out what it was. It came as a surprise to me. It's nothing other than duck or sticky rice cakes with red bean. And honestly, I couldn't understand that because I love duck.
Me too.
I'm offended. I'm officially
Duck is
offended
delicious.
now.
How could you?
Duck is so good.
It looks like he initially had sort of a reaction to the texture of it, and then once he bit into it and tasted the stuff on the inside, I mean, he actually enjoyed it because he saw a smile at the end.
That's my next business idea. I'm going to start up a duck food truck overseas. It's going to be a hit, I promise you. Alrighty, let's go on to our next story. Beautiful, isn't it? Well, actually, I want to get to space because what with the talk of the enormous success of the film Interstellar and the Rosetta satellite's successful landing on a comet, all eyes have been on space lately. So here's a view of space as we've never seen it before. Let's take a look. Look at this. This is a time-lapse video of the Earth, courtesy of NASA's Johnson Space Center. And as you can see, it's beautiful. You can see all the different countries of the world at a glance. And look how beautiful the Aurora Borealis is seen from outer space. Now this very interesting looking video, how was this filmed? It looks weird, right? Well, it turns out that astronauts built a water bubble in zero gravity and then they placed the camera inside the bubble.
It's like something from the abyss.
It really is, isn't it? So it's a camera in zero gravity, placed in water in zero gravity, filming people in zero gravity. And you get this really weird, warped, sort of fisheye lens effect. Isn't that amazing?
That is pretty cool.
And you see something like that and you wonder, man, am I ever going to make it into space? I hope it happens in my lifetime because I really think zero gravity, I'd have a lot of fun.
I think about 250,000 to 300,000
Right, you have
US
to have a lot
dollars
of money.
Well, that's important, but think how much lighter I would be. Think how much less I would weigh.
You know, you keep saying that you're heavy and you have this tummy and you're fat, and you just don't know that's not true.
I hide it pretty well. All right, before you guys get to scrutinizing me any further, let's get on to our final story. Of course, every week we take a look at some interesting advertisements from right here in Korea. This one is very interesting. It had me befuddled at first. See if you can spot what it's an ad for. Let's take a look. Now, usually a crowded subway isn't the nicest place to be, but still, at least for happy couples, there's no reason not to enjoy a little romance. But if you lose your balance in there, it's not going to end well, as you can see. But have a look at this couple. Looks a little bit different. They have their hands in each other's pockets, and they get into an extremely romantic position here. How did that happen? Are you guys confused yet? I was completely befuddled. I couldn't work it out. It does look romantic, but also a little bit odd. What can it be an ad for? All right, let's move on to the next part of the video for now. We're at a date at a skating rink, and it sounds romantic at first, but unless you know your way around a pair of skates, it can be anything but. Nothing but pain there. So what about that couple from a moment ago? Well, again, they're placing their hands in the pockets of each other's coats. And look at them go. Kim Yeona, eat your heart out. So, guys, any guesses as what this ad could possibly be for?
The winter jacket?
You're absolutely correct.
You hit the nail on the head.
My goodness, your success rate on these little questions of mine always amazes me. It's actually an ad for a new style of jacket that's being marketed this winter for couples. Now, I do have to question how successful this is going to be because the whole idea is if you have a loved one, if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, this coat gives you an excuse to hug them more because there's a pocket for your hands on their back.
Oh.
And I'm thinking couples may like it, yeah, but don't you think there might be a little bit of backlash from singles?
No, they're fine. I'm convinced that Jinju bought a pair, right?
I'll just buy one for myself.
Maybe you can buy another one that you can just carry around.
No.
Anyhow,
Thanks,
it
Simon.
was a little bit confusing, but that was a lot of fun. That's all for Viral Feed this week. I'll see you next week with more.
And it is time for #CuriousInKorea, where we try to find out some of the mysteries about Korea. Megan Bowen joins us once again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome back. So nice this morning. Nice and fresh. But did you take a selfie this morning?
No,
because you look so
this
nice.
Morning. We don't look this nice early in the morning, earlier than the show.
Because actually today the thing I was exploring was why Korean people take so much selfies. I feel like more than, at least I'm used to in my country, Korean people are constantly taking photos, and not just if you're at a really cool tourist location, but all the time, even in the restrooms.
Right, but restrooms are the best places where you can take selfies because of the bright lighting. It makes your face bright and white.
What about the toilet in the background?
I know. Just like a white background.
Pick a nice bathroom.
So, you enjoy taking selfies yourself?
Not so much. Maybe like a special occasion, or if my makeup looks really nice that day, I'm like, ooh, I have to document that.
Okay. So selfies are pretty much the fad these days. Every time you search the hashtag selfie, there's a lot of stuff on there.
Right.
And we'll look at what Megan found out in this next report.
No matter the time or place, Koreans are taking photographs. Even while being attended to in beauty salons, they have their cameras in hand. Photography seems to be especially popular among young people in Korea. Everywhere you go, it's not hard to find the younger generation of Koreans taking photos with selfie sticks.
These days, Korean young people love to take selfies, so let's find out where and why they take selfies. Follow me.
This is a restaurant in Seoul. Restaurants happen to be among the places where Korean people take the most pictures of all. And surprisingly, the photos aren't of people, but of food. So why would they do that?
Make you jealous.
The food looks good, so I take photos before I eat and post them on Instagram or Facebook.
I'd be worried my food would turn cold, but these ladies seem to be having a great time.
Later, when I see photos of food I've eaten, it makes me feel good and brings back memories.
It turns out a lot of people leave records of their day-to-day lives online with pictures instead of text, as they tend to be more intuitive. Selfies are a big part of picture taking in Korea. I wouldn't have thought this whole group could fit in a single shot, but it seemed that wasn't their first time.
만나면은 거의 다 여자들 사진 많이 찍으니까 많이 찍는 거.
셀카봉 되게 좋은 것 같아요. 얼굴도 멀리서 찍으니까 주먹만하게 나오고.
Selkabong.
Actually, selfies have really only been around in Korea for about 10 years. Before that, pictures were mostly baby portraits or group shots, but still the habit of recording important moments and images has remained. Nowadays, selfies have become totally commonplace, and the biggest reason for the enormous popularity of the selfie can be found in something most of us carry around, our mobile phones. Benefiting an IT leader, a nation with the fastest internet speeds in the world, which I like very much, Korea also boasts the world's highest distribution rate of smartphones. High-tech smartphones have evolved rapidly, and people naturally begin to take selfies with the camera apps on their phones, which are amazing. Koreans also replace their phones more frequently than any other nation, and this is largely to take advantage of better camera performance. This model, one of the most popular in Korea this year, included super fast laser autofocusing and the ability to take photos just by gesturing. So awesome.
Wow.
It was a big leap forward for the smartphone camera.
I just got a new phone too.
Not me. These pics were taken using that phone's camera app. They're pretty impressive, aren't they? They were actually taken by the photographer Kim Jung-man and director Park Chan-wook. One item which became a huge hit this year is the selfie stick, a tool that helps people take better pictures. It's really become a must-have item among Koreans lately, and I decided to find out why.
남한테 부탁을 안 해도 되고 내가 원하는 장소에서 제가 필요할 때 마음껏 찍을 수 있어서
Selfie sticks even bring couples closer together, literally.
유행이죠. 이거 없으면 시대 뒤떨어지는 거죠.
자주 같이 찍고 그런 게 더 많아지는 것 같아요.
Selfie sticks are especially popular because with the right angle, you can fit as many as 10 people in a single shot. 10. The prices vary, ranging from 2,500 won to over 30,000 won. And the length can be anywhere from 42 centimeters to 123 centimeters. And some products even include Bluetooth remote shutter buttons for greater convenience. There is such a huge range to choose from.
Nice one.
Sales have grown 100-fold in the last 2 to 3 months. You'll find a shop selling selfie sticks in almost any crowded area in Seoul.
So every day, about how many do you sell?
On a good day, I sell around 150 and 70 to 80 on average. Sales are consistently rising.
It doesn't look like the selfie stick craze in Korea will die down anytime soon. That said, selfie sticks aren't just popular in Korea, as you can see. Lots of people use them overseas as well, especially to record exciting and memorable personal moments. But their function is a little different in Korea. They're used for solo shots, of course, but they really shine when used in group shots. Korea does tend to emphasize the community more above the individual. Look at how many people can fit into the small screen just by using a selfie stick. This, I believe, is the reason for its huge popularity.
네, 요즘 제 친구들 다 갖고 다녀요.
친구들이랑 애들이랑 다 같이 한꺼번에 찍기 좋아서요. 셀카북 있으면 단체로 다 찍을 수 있잖아요. 그게 제일 좋아요. 단체로 찍을 수 있는 점.
I tried out some of the tips I learned from Korean photo enthusiasts on how to make the best selfie shots. And
you have to open your
mouth. Mastered it and see.
And here's the conclusion I arrived at.
People are very diligent and also very sensitive to the current trends. You know, about 10 years ago, digital cameras really gained popularity and the market actually increased by 200% annually. That's crazy, right? And then also DSLRs, which were originally considered only for professional use, also became very popular. But then, nowadays, you can barely find any type of digital camera and they've been replaced by cell phones. So I wonder, 10 years from now, what will replace cell phones?
We love taking selfies so much. We did it during your report also. And you brought a selfie stick with you.
A lovely selfie stick.
Right.
So this is that whole community involvement desire that Korea has that actually makes the selfie stick so popular.
Right.
Tell us some tips you learned.
Well, I learned first you don't use the flash. You know, if you use the
flash,
maybe your nose will disappear or something.
How about you show us while we do it together?
Let's do it together.
I personally don't own a selfie stick, but I've always secretly desired.
You can take that one after.
I am the master. Are you ready?
You have to do that 45-degree angle.
Oh, 45.
Right. This is 45,
chin down.
right?
Chin
But
down.
yeah,
this is
you have to
45.
put some air into your cheeks.
Or like go like
Look
this.
Can I just take it like this? Okay, you ready?
I see it on.
I'm running out of breath here.
Wow, it's pretty high tech. We've connected our background with the selfie stick, and let's take a look at this picture and see.
Oh my God.
Not bad at all. For some reason, Young and I look similar in that picture.
It's actually supposed to work. It's supposed to help make you look younger and cuter.
And cuter. And you can fit up to 10. You can fit up to 10 people in it, which I was highly impressed. There were some girls when we were out that actually fit the whole group in there.
Right. What I've noticed about Korean people taking selfies is not just about yourself, but it's about the group. It's about sense of that community, taking pictures with your friends.
Right.
And it's gaining popularity among the senior members of the society as well.
I was actually surprised when I saw, some older people, out there with their selfie sticks and things.
Or like when you're traveling alone and you don't have someone to take pictures for you.
Right, you can take them yourself. So it's convenient in that way. So there are a lot of tourists too that use them as well.
Yeah, we can see them pretty much everywhere. Now, the photo taking culture, it's a way to leave memories, taking pictures of your food. I mean, you might want to go ahead and share with your friends. I mean, it's better than, Minjung always says, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And, basically 1,000 words can't beat one picture, so.
That's true. And I completely agree, especially on the food ones. Actually, I look online and get a little bit hungry, but I really appreciate the Korean technology. I feel like the Korean cameras are so good. They always make your skin look so nice. And so I think because of the technological advances that, the camera technology is really awesome, so that helps as well.
It's kind of a wonder. You ask yourself, do people really use regular cameras anymore, except for professionals who use DSLRs?
I don't think so.
Only for special occasions, I think. But in our everyday lives, we just use our cell phones.
Right. People always have their cell phones in hand. They're convenient. Everything is there. Connected with the world, take pictures.
Well, you know what? I'm going to take a few selfies after this program.
All right. Thank you so much, Megan, for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you, Megan.
All right, well, this is where we say goodbye on this Monday morning.
Get it ready for another selfie.
All right, I'm planning to. All right, there.
All right, while we try to figure this thing out, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.